Hey friends, welcome back to Rita Talks. I'm Rita, and on this YouTube channel, I just share some of the thoughts, ideas that I've been thinking about, some of the things that have been happening in my life, and all this stuff. Like one thing that I wanted to talk about today, which is related to these videos that I'm filming. I actually saw that someone like has watched a big portion of one of these videos, which is crazy because basically these videos don't get any views, and if they get any views, it's like only, I don't know, like 10 seconds or like 15 seconds for the person to just click out of the video. But I think I had my first long view yesterday, which is absolutely insane. It was just also another Rampley video, so it's super awesome to see the small progress that I've been making. And obviously, I'm not expecting to have any viewers at all on this channel. It's just there for public record, for me to keep myself accountable, um, and it's just there for like the future where maybe I can just come back and like reflect on some of the ups and downs that I've been through. But it was cool to see that someone has watched some portion of that video. So that's crazy to think, but that's cool. So that's one thing that I wanted to talk about today. The second thing is that today I'm completely destroyed. Like right now, it's like I have no energy left whatsoever. Basically, I had my first um, generative AI demo for this project, a prototype thing that I'm working on. I would give myself a 3 out of 5 for that one. I don't think I did my best. I mean, also, I didn't have that much time, or I didn't give myself that much time to prepare. So I definitely think that I could have done better in terms of in terms of clarity. That was the word I was looking for. My mind completely went blank, but that's okay. Yeah, in terms of clarity, I think it would have been easier. I think basically I'm gonna be having these every 2 weeks, so I can try again the next time. But basically, I think something that would have made it easier would be to have had some visuals to support what I was saying, because I think the fact that I didn't have any matching visuals to the words that I was saying and to the concepts that I was trying to get across did not help. So I was just talking in blank and trying to uh, like explain things without having any supporting visuals. I was obviously sharing my screen, but basically my screen did not reflect the way that I wanted it to be expressed. But that's okay. I think I've made some good progress on that project. I'm really excited about it, to be honest. Um, I haven't felt this alive in such a long time, and this is all of thanks to this project. It's just so exciting. I'm so happy to be working on machine learning again, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity to experiment with it and to work on it in my current team. I'm super grateful for my TPM for pushing me to do it, because I was not gonna do it if he hadn't pushed me to do it. So yeah, I love that guy. TPM, he's like just the best. I always just wanna like give him a hug, and like he's just the best guy, and super kind and like funny, and yeah, definitely one of the greats from my team. So super grateful for that. What else? I also I needed to learn Camel, so the programming language, today, because I was gonna give uh, a lesson on that in the evening, and I think I did okay in the lesson. I don't think it was my best lesson. I think that's basically the theme today. Anything that I did today was okay. It was not the best, but but it's okay because it's forcing me to do stuff that I wouldn't have otherwise done. So it's okay to have okay days and okay performances, where not every single session that I host, not every single um, class I give is gonna be the best possible class, but that's just the way to get to the best possible classes. It's through iteration and like basically like collapsing the time to learn. Basically, like I had to learn Camel in like 1 hour because that's the time that I had to prepare because I had other stuff for work. And so basically, I just, used obviously ChatGPT to help me figure out what I needed to figure out. So honestly, like ChatGPT is just the best. I wish I had this when I was in school because it's like just freaking amazing. I just keep on asking it questions and it keeps on helping me straighten out my thinking, and it's just amazing. Super grateful for that tool that I have now to help me out with um, anything. Especially, it helps me out a lot with teaching. It helps me out flush out my thinking and like basically ask questions uh, that that are specific to like some sort of turning point in the thinking process for a specific problem. And I guess you just have to know what are the right questions to ask it. And I think that's like genuinely, I think one of the most helpful things ever. So uh, I learned enough today to be able to teach uh, my students for 1 hour, and I hope. Uh, I think it helped him, but like I don't think it was like the best ever session that anyone has ever received. And I feel like that's been the case for a lot of the stuff that I've been like a lot of the tutoring that I've been doing lately, because basically I'm forcing myself to just do stuff even though I feel like I'm not prepared enough, and sometimes I'm not, but just basically like train my ability to adapt and think on my feet, and basically think with a deadline, and like basically just find the fastest path to seeing something that will actually help someone. Um, and that's been really forcing me to collapse the time between thought and action, because I learn something and I need to immediately learn what it takes to make it work. I need to learn it and teach it to someone else. So it's like a super cool way to learn. It's really challenging and it's somewhat stressful because I'm always like, oh my god, they're gonna think that I'm a terrible teacher and like all of this stuff, which they probably think. But the only thing that I'm thinking is that as long as I'm able to help them, because if I wasn't here, they would be blocked. Uh, so as long like I'm trying to set my bar that low, where okay, this person needs some help, and if I wasn't here, they wouldn't have had any help. So basically having me help them through the lens of someone who has quite a few years of experience. I mean, quite a few, 2 years of experience under my belt, plus, 5 years of programming, all of that stuff before then. Basically, that allows me to see what are the turning points that some beginners don't have. And basically, in some sense, this is not something that I could have done a few years back, because right now I have a better understanding of like programming languages and like also like machine learning frameworks, where basically I have this map in my head where It's I know that okay, for a programming language there are a few ways that you need to define a function, that this is how you take variables, this is how you iterate over this is how you do this, and that basically I just need to figure out like how that framework translates into the specific language that I'm trying to learn, and that's basically what I did for Camel today. Is that I was just trying to figure out how this fits into my the programming concepts that I already know, but how to adjust to this new language that I have not used that many times. But as long as I'm helping the student, like basically, unblock themselves, I think that's okay. And also, the goal with this is just to keep doing it so many times that eventually, just using the law of big numbers from probability and statistics, that eventually I will converge towards basically a broader knowledge and like more in-depth, broader knowledge basically. So I would be able to go very deep on a wide area of topics that are adjacent to my field. So when it comes to programming, when it comes to machine learning, I can just basically have a map in my head of what's happening and how that fits into the big picture. And so basically forcing myself to learn this way has been super it's been stressful, to be honest. It's been like, because I really need, like, for example, for my student today, I really needed to figure out like how the heck I'm gonna freaking teach him how to solve a freaking problem, and like I needed to understand how this freaking problem works and then how to explain it to him. So that, like, it was just a forcing factor that I needed to overcome. And the more I overcome these forcing factors, the more confidence I have in my ability to handle uncertain situations, because basically the more I see myself handle these uncertain situations that are moderate, I don't know, with moderate risk levels. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I can get a bad review on my on my super prof page because I perform badly for a student. But worst case, I like, what I'm thinking is that okay, like if someone is really that unhappy, I will just refund them whatever they paid me for whatever session that they were unsatisfied with. So like that's the worst case that can happen, and I could maybe get a bad grade, but yeah, like the idea is just to try and give them as much pointers and like be as transparent as I can be. So usually when I don't know something, I mean, I usually actually only accept things that I think are gonna be a challenge. Like, for example, learning this OCaml thing, I've wanted to do it for a long time, and I thought this, like, if I had said, okay, no, I don't know how to do this, I would never have taken it up on my own. So it's a forcing factor for me to learn this, because I wanted to, like, it's interesting to see how this language works. And I wanted to do it for a long time, but I didn't get a chance to. So I just thought, okay, this is the perfect opportunity to do this. The same for reinforcement learning that I'm teaching this other student. It's within the kind of stuff that I want to learn and like dive deeper into. And basically, like when the student was like, okay, I want to learn this, I'm like, great. I can teach it to you because I want to learn it too, to that level of depth. And basically, by forcing myself to have to teach this to someone, I view this from a completely different perspective, because I'm really able to drill down to what are the essential parts that I need to get to this student, that I need to get across to this student to understand, for this student to understand what's happening, and so it just makes me focus on the most important things. And I did the same for this student of mine who's doing this bootcamp, this data science bootcamp, and she's working on um, some on leveraging some large language models uh, for um, for a like to fine tune it to a Twitter task. And basically, I needed to learn. Like, I was like, hell yes, I wanna help you with this. Even though, I mean, I knew the big lines of, okay, this is what it takes to do this. And I also knew, like, I have some experience in the field, which means that, like, I know that most of the time there is some library that I can use, that I can immediately leverage to get to my outcome. And usually it's not as hard as it seems from the outside. Like, when you just read the paper, it's super complicated because it's the paper that the people who are actually developing this wrote. But when it reaches something that's a bit more mainstream, so it's something that's starting to be taught at university, something that's starting to be taught in boot camps and stuff, there's usually some library that you can use, some framework that you can use that allows you to do like to get to the end result much faster. And basically, I'm trying just to find the fastest way to do that and to get results for my students. And basically, it's a good forcing factor, and it's something that I'm comfortable doing because I've like I know that I can do it because I'm not like the maths does not like the maths from all of these topics do not scare me because I've studied them. And I know I have the basics to basically just take, uh, like, I have the foundation for each of these topics to basically just go in and not be scared of any of the concepts that I'm gonna face. But like, I'm not afraid uh, of any mathematical thing, any paper, to be honest, anything related to machine learning, because I just know that I will be able to figure it out. Just because I've done some much harder things in the past, especially when I was in university, and I'm pretty sure that I can figure out a lot of these things. Even though I don't know exactly how to do it, I know, like, I have a fast path in my mind of how to figure it out, which is something that the students have not had the chance to form yet, like this fast path to figuring things out. And I think that's my advantage as someone with a few years of experience under her belt, is that I have built this fast path of learning where I can just, okay, take something that I need to learn, um, like in any of these areas in which I have a pretty large foundation from my studies and from my previous learnings, and I can just like come in, know that I can figure something out. So I need like the first thing that I do is I determine what am I missing, what are the key components that I am missing that I need to absolutely learn. Uh, and then once I have those down, I just go into deep dive mode immediately, and I need to figure out, okay, this is the component that I'm missing, this is the component that I'm missing, what is this, what is this, what is this, and how, like, immediately after I learn what is this, all of this, I need to translate it into how does this translate into my students' project? Like, how can I get them to put this into a piece of code and they can run it and they can get like results immediately? And basically, it's like just a collapsing of the whole uh, process, like in a super short, narrow window of time. That's really challenging, but it's also fun because it gets me excited and it gets me like I'm becoming more confident in my ability to basically go through this whole process, condensed process, in a snap, and I'm able to really learn much faster, and then explain my learnings to my students in a faster way. So at the beginning, it's okay. Like it really does feel like I'm an imposter most of the time, but it's not because I'm lying to my students, because I know that I can help them. Just maybe I don't know the exact details of how I can help them, but I know what I need to do. So it's just a matter of closing the how gap, which is usually very small to close. But I'm always confident in my ability to help my students, because I've done lots of things before where basically I needed to figure out what I need to do, and I I don't need to exactly know what is like how I'm gonna get there. I just need to know that this is a problem that I think that I can solve, and the how I think usually is much easier than we imagine it is, especially in academic, when it comes to teaching students who are in school or who are doing some data science bootcamp or something, because there's usually a structure that I'm pretty familiar with, that I can get through pretty fast. And even though I'm not familiar with the exact use case, I know that I can that those skills also port into any use cases that I might not have directly worked on. So she's uncomfortable at the beginning, but it's discomfort that I'm trying to learn to deal with and be okay with. So yeah, that's that's what I've been thinking about today. Sometimes, I mean, you feel like you're not good enough, but it's okay. I think it's better than not helping them, and so some help is better than no help. So that's the mindset that I try to go about. The same, I have this other knowledge sharing session that I'm doing tomorrow for my team, and I just spent, I don't know, like 2 hours doing a deep dive into the topic that I need to teach the team tomorrow. And basically, honestly, I think this day I just completely mismanaged. I mean, not mismanaged my time, but I may have overcommitted myself in terms of deliverables, but it's okay, because it's when I do things despite the fact that I don't feel that I'm ready to do them. And I come out, maybe not unscathed, but alive. And I learned that, yes, so what? It didn't go well, so what? Or it went a bit better than I thought it was gonna go, or something like that. It just helps build this baseline of confidence in my abilities. That I think is a feeling that's just paralleled in terms of I don't think there's a better way to build confidence than like do things that you think that you're not ready for. And because basically either you learn that okay, you were not ready for that, and even though you were not ready for that, you survived. You're not gonna die if you do something that you're not ready for. And the second thing is, okay, you thought that you were not ready for it, but you were more ready than you thought. So it's like it's a win either way. Like it's all information, and it just goes down. Like it goes back to this concept of you decide what meaning to assign the things that happen to you, and basically taking risks, and learning that it's not a big deal after all, and also learning that you know you're capable of more than you thought. I think it's a powerful lesson to learn, and I think that's a lesson that I'm trying to push myself to basically like to teach myself on a very regular basis, and that's something that I've been really pushing myself to do. Um, it's very uncomfortable. Like most of the time, I feel like an imposter. Like someone asks like a question, I'm like, I don't exactly know, but like I don't exactly tell them because otherwise they would doubt my ability to come through. But after that, you know, when the commitment is there, most of the time I'm able to follow through. If I'm not, then I will just say it explicitly and like find a way to make up for it. But yeah, it's teaching myself that it's okay to do things that you don't think you're ready for because you will find that you survive in the end. Nothing bad will happen, and also that actually you're more ready than you think. So yeah, it's kind of reassuring. Anyway, on that note, thanks a lot for tuning in today. You can click here to watch my previous video on this channel, so the one right before this one, and you can click here to watch my latest video on the channel overall. Thanks a lot for tuning in today. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day, night, whichever time of day it is where you are right now. Bye for now, and I will hopefully see you in the next one.